Legal advice on whether Scott Morrison breached any rules when he secretly seized 5 portfolios will be released publicly today. Ahead of the release, the Prime Minister has put the focus on skills, declaring the upcoming Jobs Summit is already a success.
Meeting workers at a Sydney jeweller.
How long's the apprenticeship for? 4 years?
Just 3-4 years.
The Prime Minister puts Australia's skills shortages under the microscope.
They're a handbrake on business activity.
The solution to the skills crisis will be up for debate at next week's Jobs Summit in Canberra.
Look, already I regard it as a success. The fact that you're all here and we're talking about jobs and skills.
But the New South Wales Treasurer says there needs to be less talk and more action. Matt Keane wants the Labor government to start stamping passports to let in what he says are tens of thousands of skilled workers waiting to come to Australia.
So the Commonwealth doesn't need to wait for a Jobs Summit. It doesn't need to ask the unions for permission. It doesn't need to wait for the October federal budget. It needs to start stamping passports today.
Migration is part of the solution, but it's not the only part.
The Prime Minister argues reskilling Australians must also be in the mix.
You know, the skills have changed. We need to change the training to match those skills.
During the pandemic, temporary visa holders were excluded from wage subsidies and foreign students were told to go home. The Skills Minister argues the legacy of Australia's COVID policies has exacerbated the problem.
Some of them have had a bad experience and they're not all going to automatically return.
The former Agriculture Minister insists tough decisions had to be made.
Well, the whole world was doing that. We're going into the unknown.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has promised to release the full legal advice on the Morrison ministry scandal on Tuesday. Even if it finds Scott Morrison acted within the law, Anthony Albanese says it won't be the end of the matter.
Quite clearly there are real questions to be answered here.
The Solicitor General's legal advice will be presented to Cabinet before being released to the public in full.
Now, there hasn't been a suggestion of illegality, but there have been questions raised about how this could occur.
The opposition is also open to helping close any loophole that allowed the ministries to remain secret.
And look, we'll be pragmatic.
The Greens are pushing for Scott Morrison to be referred to the Privileges Committee when Parliament returns in September. Trudy McIntosh, Sky News, Canberra.